Of course, she took a picture. Saw a bright flash of light and realized she'd just taken my picture of that instant camera she'd been holding onto. Hello, this is Artistic Weave from down here. Welcome back to Corpse Party, Book of Shadows. Let's just get right into it. I'm just trying to adjust the volume on here. Let us... We ran away. Right. Alright, we ran away. Okay. I could hear the sounds of someone else running just a short distance in front of me. I couldn't make out who it was with any certainty, but I did briefly catch a glimpse of a figure retreating into the darkness. It looked like... Okay. I took off in pursuit. If that was Big Brother, then I just had to catch up to him. He mustn't have heard me. His pace never slowed, and I saw him disappear around the corner. Oh, here we are. Don't see... Okay. I'll deal with the IDs later. I don't know where to go. I don't know which way to go. Ooh. At the earthquake, suddenly my field of vision started going topsy-turvy. Was I falling? It was an earthquake, but there was more than just that. The floor beneath me was moving up and down in time with the quake's left and right motion. I tried putting one hand on the floor for balance and getting back to my feet. I thought I'd done it. I was standing now and had started getting used to the vibrations as long as I held the wall so I could walk. But that all quite literally came crashing down around me, and soon enough the wild leaves shaking floor cracked and crumbled, and I was free falling. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, no, God, not this place. I raised my head and found myself lying on top of a pile of rubble. I wasn't too much worse for wear, though, all things considered. I looked all around me frantically, but I saw nothing even remotely familiar. This was definitely someplace new. And it didn't even feel much like a school anymore. The walls and floor were made from packed dirt, with only railroad ties keeping it all together. I knew I was underground. I had to be. It just felt that way. There were no windows anywhere, and based on the smell, there was no ventilation either. Big Brother might have gotten caught off guard by that earthquake too. I thought he could be down here. It was a big one after all. Maybe he was injured. Maybe he couldn't move. I tried pushing myself up from the pile of rubble, ready to shoot to my feet, continue the search. That didn't last long, however. My hands and feet were still a little numb from the ropes, making it hard to keep my balance. I fell back onto my butt. Okay. I forgot the cheat. Your jam filter as I was set through, it would have taken forever to dry. I was so wrapped up in running for my life and crashed chasing after the girl that I didn't even notice. So, what? But now I couldn't get it out of my mind. You working? You working microphone? Microphone stopped working for a second. Tears were welling up in my eyes. How could I be so pathetic? I forced myself to my feet, doing my best to try ignoring this. I won't be able to ignore it for long, though. Yeah. Going like this, I was going to get a rash or catch pneumonia or something. Every step was going to be its own form of hell. But what could I do? I could take them off, but then what? Carry them with me? Either leave them on the floor for someone else to find? No thanks. Oh, you go. I swallowed my pride, held back my tears as I could, and waddled onward. Search mode. We are in the bomb shelter. Let's check out all the holes before we check like the storehouse and such. Oh, hello. It's a set of skeletal remains given its 20th century. It's very likely belonged to an elementary school student in life. There's an ID and tag have lodged inside the poor girl's rib cage. Great Harbor Elementary School, Chihiro Tamura. Try to go this way. Death room, lovely. Okay, let's go this way. A giant wall. Another giant wall. Just trying to show the way to open it. It's okay. Lovely. I could go in there. What's over here? Nothing. Okay, let's go in here. Let's go in here and see. Anything in here? Okay, oh wait, I was supposed to go here. Oops. The only bathrooms I've seen at this point were unusable, charms on the doors mysteriously sealing the room shut, bodies hanging in the stalls, but this looked to be a complete normal bathroom. Well, certainly the most normal I've seen since getting stuck in this place anyway. This piece of wood on the floor ground here? Sure. I tried pulling on one of the wooden stall doors. I listened carefully for any hint of response, even going so far as to hold my breath. But there wasn't a single sound to be heard. The entire room was dead silent. The walls are made from packed dirt after all, and there was a lot of moisture in the air. Effectively, this whole place was naturally soundproofed. I backed away from the saw slightly and almost tripped over a fairly sizable crack in the ground, about 5 centimeters wide and 1 centimeter thick. Oh. Finally, I was able to get out of those waterlogged Despite being alone, I still tried to remove them as quickly as I could, and then stuffed them tightly into the crack and discovered. Into the crack. Sure.
全部入らないや。布がはみ出ちゃう。もっと大きく広げられればいいんだけど。どうしよう。そうだ。この木で隙間を大きくすれば。
Use piece of wood. Use piece of wood.
ゆかのこんな姿。お兄ちゃんに見られなくてよかった。どうか誰にも見つかりませんように。特にお兄ちゃんには。
Not that Big Brother would be likely to wander into a girl's bathroom, but it was possible given the circumstances. So just to be safe, I figured it couldn't hurt to pray that that didn't happen.
でももうちょっと奥に詰めておこうかな。誰かに見つかったら恥ずかしいもんね。よし。
My door was not totally buried and out of sight. There was no way anyone could come across it if they didn't know it was there. Satisfied, I stood up.
スースーしてやだな。
And what did you expect?
でも濡れたまま履いてたらもっと気持ち悪いし。
Jesus Christ.
さっきから地震ばかり。ここ大丈夫かな。さっきよりも古い建物だけど壊れちゃわないかな。
I peeked my head out from the bathroom and looked around.
いないよね。お兄ちゃん、お兄ちゃん。
My voice echoed a lot louder than I was expecting. It actually surprised me considering the wet dirt walls. I didn't think weird sound would travel that far.
怖いよ。
Oh, you go.
他にお兄ちゃんの友達とか誰かいれば。臭い。手洗いたいな。
I began walking through the hall once again, this time a bit slower and more unevenly due to exhaustion. And we're back to this. Storehouse. Let's go to the storehouse. See what's in the storehouse. Anything in the storehouse? Any bodies? Did that increase the dark? It may have increased the darkening. I don't know. Okay, let's go up. Start checking some of these halls. I know where I have to go next, actually, but I'll come back when I find a body. If I find a body. Well, that didn't take long. It's a decayed skeletal corpse. The clothing diminutive stature suggests this was likely an elementary school boy. His name tag is still pinned to his breast pocket. Great Harbor Elementary School, Hiroshi Takano. Any more? Ooh. We got another one. It's a decaying corpse. Based on the outward appearance and uniform, this was likely a junior high school girl. Sanitary stored intact. Takane Municipal Middle School, Koi Kawahara. Last hall here, and nothing. Yep, okay. Check these halls open this side. I think we gotta go to the body pool thing. This way. Go this way. There's, oh, hello. This is a newly decayed corpse. Deceased corpse. Practically still warm. It's used to tell. There's a female junior high school student. There's a student 19 on the counter. Fees. Shobu University Middle School. Michi Moritoshi. Okay, let's check on the other side. Check the other end. Nope. Okay, didn't see anything there. Yep, there's a spot here. I'm glad it shows you as you're going the spots so you can quickly see if there is a body there, probably. And maybe that's how I should have been doing it. Set of skeletal remains. There doesn't seem to be any way to determine gender or age, but there is a student named DNA with elected to its eye socket, identifying those remains as likely as being belong to a male. Kyogo Shibuya. Okay, let's go back in here. Save just in case. Just in case. Body pull. The door to this particular room was shuddering ever so slightly, as if there were a breeze blowing against it gently from inside. Slowly and hesitantly, it put both hands on the doorknob and started to turn. As soon as the door opened even a crack, a powerful, horrible stench slammed into my face and twisted around my nasal cavity, just like a jet of water. I was instantly feeling nauseous and lightheaded, as if I were suddenly deprived of oxygen. That's not water, I don't think. Holding my nose, I stepped back into the room, toward the source of the noise. If there were water here, maybe I could wash my hands, I thought. My extreme thirst came back full force. Oh no. Full force. Clean water was the greatest thing I could have possibly found at this point. I accidentally kicked over a bucket, spilling its contents into the ground in front of me. Nope. 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 God damn you. Nope. Stop. Nope. 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 Countless flies. Nope. Nope. Countless flies. Countless flies immediately flew out from the overturned bucket and began swarming all around me. Oh god. Oh god. Back into the bullshit. Their buzzing wings sounded right up against my ears as if they were attacking me. I let go of my nose and began flailing my arms wildly, attempting in vain to drive them away. As I haphazardly stumbled forward, I found my fist splashing in shallow liquid. Mere moments later, my hand came in contact with a wall and brushed against a switch. I heard a faint clicking sound, and then... Oh yeah, this spot. The lights blinked on, and I got a clear look at the room I was standing in. It's a pool of bodies. A large portion of the floor had been dug out into something resembling a pool, which was filled with stagnant, discolored water and dismembered bodies. The bodies were decomposing a lot faster than they naturally would on account of the wetness. Most of them had swarms of maggots instead of faces. Several bodies had actually washed up on the ground outside of the pool as well. Those few had still limbs. Those that still had limbs looked like they may have lose them at any moment. Their torsos were all swollen and black, and everything else was bone white. The closest body was spurting a sappy mucus from its nose and mouth and staring at me with an ugly, mean expression. The thick fluid coming out of it was reddish brown in color and seemed to be a disgusting mixture of blood and dead bugs. Ew. Some sort of huge door high along the top of the wall opened up, and I could clearly see a breeze blowing through the room. It was a trash chute. Yeah. I was afraid of what might be coming through that hole, so I put some distance between it and myself. Something heavy fell from above and splashed into the pool, spraying my face with rotten, stagnant water. Oh. The body that had just fallen into the pool of water was wearing a school uniform. As soon as it touched the liquid, it began bubbling and melting into it as if it were a bag of ingredients tossed into a stew pot. One of the poor victim's lungs floated to the ew, giving the whole scene even more of a sick soup-like appearance. I don't want to know. I dragged my wet foot onto a dry part of the ground for a second or two, then made a dash for the door. As soon as I was back out in the hall, I fell to my knees in shock. I couldn't even move. The smell of death and decay was still sticking to me and still trying to snake its way into my nose, and it was all I could not do not to throw up on the spot. I hadn't eaten anything for hours, so I'm not even sure what I would have actually thrown up, but still felt like I had to more strongly than ever before. Maybe it would have been best just to let it come out. I'm sure I would have felt better afterwards. But I honestly didn't want to see my own vomit right now, not for all the other disgusting things I'd seen. I've had enough. Times like this, especially when I really longed for my big brother, if only he were here with me, I cried out for him as if in prayer. Oh, you lying sack of shit. There's a little girl here with an arm outstretched, begging for help, and rush over to her side. She's faintly glowing. All I could do for her was offer physical comfort. If I rubbed her back, maybe she'd feel better. The girl grimaced again as if she were experiencing some new pain all of a sudden. Again, you lying sack of shit. I gently brushed my hand against the little girl's face, wiping away her tears. I'd only just met her, but I already really felt for her. She had it a lot worse than I did. I took Sachiko's hand in my own and pulled her to her feet. Sachiko's hand was so thin and light compared to my own. Not just light, it almost felt as if it was completely weightless.
やっぱり幽霊なんだ。
Sachiko noticed me staring at her and I must have quite a look on my face. This seemed to bother her, so I did my best to force a smile. I'm sure she was worried I'd leave her all by herself again, and I wanted to make sure she knew I was here for her.
どうしたのお姉ちゃん。ちょっと考え事してて。ごめんなさい。
Sachiko lowered her head and looked like she was about to
ど
cry.
うして謝るの？幸子。多分幽霊だから。お姉ちゃんと違うから。怖がらせちゃって。ごめんなさい。よかったら、こんな小さい子を不安にさせるなんて。
I took Sachiko's hand in both of mine, turning to face her, looking down a little so her eyes were
大丈夫だよ。幽霊は怖いけど、なんだかあなたは怖くない気がするの。怖くない？本当に？幸子ちゃんは大丈夫。お姉ちゃん行っちゃうの？
I did have to think for a moment, since I knew I couldn't take a ghost with me very far, but in the end, I also knew I couldn't just leave her.
幸子ちゃんも一緒にゆかのお兄ちゃんを探してくれる？お兄ちゃん？すっごく頼りになるの。きっと幸子ちゃんにも優しくしてくれるよ。
Her head was still down, but her eyes were peeking up at me. She looked nervous, but for the first time since we started talking, she also looked hopeful.
幸子も一緒に行っていいの？もう一人じゃないよ。ゆかが、お姉ちゃんがそばにいるからね。
Honestly, I was only two. I probably wanted her with me just as badly as she wanted someone with her, ghost or no.
さあ、行こう、幸子ちゃん。
I turned to head back down the hall, but was stopped by Sachiko tugging on my uniform. She was wearing a forced smile on her face, but still looked uneasy.
お姉ちゃん。
Oh, here we go. Oh, well, here we go.
言うことって？
What was she going to tell me to do? I was so surprised by the question. I wasn't sure how to best respond, but the longer I thought about it, the more uneasy she looked, so...
お姉ちゃんね。あなたのお話なら聞くよ。
No.
本当？だから何でも話してね。
There was clearly something specific she had in mind, but I wasn't going to push her about it. She'd ask me when she was ready. She seemed satisfied with my answer and let go of my uniform, so hand in hand we continued down the hall in search of my big brother. I can't remember. What was that I had to do? Let's go to the death room. Why not? Nothing bad ever happens in the death room.
お兄ちゃん。
Ooh, body.
やっぱりここにはいないのかな。そうだね。幸子ちゃん、ゆかの他には誰も見なかった？
That's all she said, and then suddenly she squatted on the ground, wrapped her arms around her
どうしたの？
knees.
どこか痛いの？お姉ちゃん、寒いよ。寒い？
She nodded firmly, almost exaggeratedly.
そっか。幽霊でも痛みを感じるなら、きっと寒さも感じるよね。かわいそう。
As if to show me just how cold she was, she then started visibly shivering.
ねえ、幸子ちゃん、何かゆかにできることない？何か。そう、幸子ちゃんがこれ以上辛くならないように何でも言って。じゃあ、お姉ちゃんのそれちょうだい。
Those? She's pointing at my feet. Oh, my socks? This is the first time I noticed that Sachiko was walking around barefoot. I was so busy worrying about myself and about finding my big brother that I had completely failed to pay any attention to poor Sachiko's appearance.
ごめんね、すぐ気がつかなくて。いいの。
Sachiko shook her head.
私お姉ちゃんなのに、もっと早く気づいてあげられればよかった。
If I were big brother, I would have noticed right away and given her my shoes. But it wasn't too late. I took off my shoes and socks and offered them to Sachiko. They were a little wet, but still better than walking on these cold dirt floors and bare feet. I didn't really like the idea of doing that myself, but just one look at this poor lost soul shaking form convinced me I was doing the right thing.
ありがとうお姉ちゃん。
Oh God, I don't like this. Sachiko took just the socks, leaving the shoes in my hand.
幸子ちゃん、靴下だけでいいの？上履きは？うん。だってお姉ちゃんが裸足になっちゃうでしょ？
She flashed a gentle smile at me, which stayed on her face the whole time. She slowly put on both my
お
socks.
姉ちゃんに怪我してほしくないから。そっか、優しいんだね、幸子ちゃんは。
I patted her head just like Big Brother always did to me.
お姉ちゃん大好き。
Her smile had grown now. It was stretched from cheek to cheek, and I began to feel like I'd do anything at all to keep her happy. I wonder if this was how Big Brother felt when I smiled at him like that.
頑張ろうね、幸子ちゃん。
Despite the severity of the situation, I was in high spirits. I almost forgot just how horrible this place really was.
うん、お兄ちゃんを見つけられるように。ん？幸子ちゃん、今何か言った？
I thought that was a giggle, but it sounded different somehow, like her voice had changed to someone else's or someone else was here.
うん。かわいい。むちゃくちゃしたい。
Oh God.
何？うんうん、何も言ってないよ。
Oh God.
気のせいかな。
What is it that they usually say in movies? Must have been the wind, not too likely to say stuck in an underground bunker like this, but still.
怖がりすぎなのかも。
No, you're not.
もっとしっかりしなくちゃ。お姉ちゃんなんだから。
I put on the bravest face I could manage and marched back out into the hall, pausing only to make sure Sachiko was still behind me. Oh, the body! Hold on. The body. I'll go back in so I can go to the body.
ここはさっきそうだね。
Alright, let's look at someplace else.
大丈夫。きっとお兄ちゃんが何とかしてくれるから。お兄ちゃん？すっごく頼りになるんだ。へえ、そうなんだ。
Thank you for letting me do this now. There are thoroughly forced rings on the table here based on general appearance. With these clothing, they appear to belong to a very young girl. And takes a fix your chest. Create hard elementary school Mako Sakurai. The other bodies. Ooh, hello. Right here. So the skeleton remains. There doesn't need to be any way to determine gender from clothing built alone, but there's a need to gender from the name Kamashiro Trade School Sakurai Motoi. Okay, I think we're good. Okay.
お姉ちゃん。何？
What?
どうしたの？足が痛いの。足？
The soles of Sachiko's feet seemed to be bothering her quite a bit. As we stood there, I noticed she was fidgeting in place, trying to not stand on
そう
them.
だよね。幸子ちゃん、靴下だけだもんね。
She said nothing else, she just stared at my feet. She seemed to want my shoes now, but didn't want to say anything, since I offered them earlier and she turned them down. So I just decided to offer them again.
私の上履き履く？いいの？うん。幸子ちゃん、また怪我しちゃうもんね。お姉ちゃんは？ゆかは、お姉ちゃんだから大丈夫だよ。
I wouldn't accept any objections, so I took off my shoes and handed them to Sachiko without another. Hold on, no, without another word. Cheerfully, she slipped them over my socks. They were a little big on her, but I knew she'd feel better just having them.
ありがとう。嬉しい。じゃあ、行こっか。
Sachiko wasn't used to such big fluffy shoes. She took one step and
大
stumbled
丈夫？
forward.
手繋いでてあげるよ。うん。ゆかお姉ちゃん大好き。幸子ちゃん、ここは何もなかったから引き返そう。そう。
Where are we going?
このまま進んでていいのかな。こっちがいい。
Sachiko was pointing down the hall toward the spot where the earthquake had dropped me.
こっち？こっちに何かあるの？わかんない。けどこっち。何の音だろう。あそこに入りたい。あそこ？でもあそこは鍵が。今開いた音がしたの。何かあるの？お願い。入りたいの。そっか。じゃあそっちに行こうか。
Sachiko nodded firmly, then practically dragged me by the hand over to the door near my entry point in this underground maze. So we still end up in the storehouse. Lovely.
なんかここ広いね。あっち。
Energetic as can be, Sachiko pulled me farther into the darkened room.
待って、幸子ちゃん。
So I suddenly felt a sharp pain in the sole of my foot. Looked down to see what I stepped in. The floor here was actually kind of a mess. It was bumpy and uneven. There were all kinds of tiny, sharp-looking objects scattered everywhere. Not just old rusty nails, but bits of glass, loose wooden boards with jagged edges and splinters all over them, and plenty else I couldn't even identify.
血が出ちゃった。かわいい。幸子ちゃん？どうしたの、お姉ちゃん。あれ？そっちにいたの？何だったんだろう、今の声。
There was a set of bleached white bones and ape against the wall.
まだ子供だったのかな。そうだ、幸子ちゃんは今いくつなのかな。いくつ？そう、何歳かな。小学生だよね。わかんない。思い出せないの。そっか、ごめんなさい。
So just stood there with her head hung low and a look of disdain on her face. She didn't say another word. It seemed safe to assume that she probably didn't have any memories from when she was alive at all.
ごめんね。気にしないでね。ごめんなさい。
Looking a bit closer on the pile of bones, was soon a DNA tag just from the victim's ribcage to her as a female. Renaissance Elementary School, Yukari Sikia. Okay, that's just that. Okay. Saga folded up Japanese style futons.
これ何？これ、ポラロイドカメラ
Sachiko found her old, oversized instant camera lying around somewhere and was holding it triumphantly in her hands. Okay.
眩しい。びっくりした。まだ使えるんだね。持って行ってもいい？いいけど、重いよ。大丈夫。嬉しいな。
Finally, from ear to ear, Sachiko carefully examined every inch of the camera. She was an innocent little girl with a brand new toy.
お姉ちゃん、幸子疲れちゃった。この布団使えたら一休みしようか。
Carefully tiptoeing across the little strewn floor, nursing my sore and bloodied foot. The whole while I staked my way over the futons. I didn't much like the idea of sleeping in the same room as a dead child, but I had to admit I was pretty exhausted too.
ちょっと湿っててカビ臭いけど、敷いたら横になれるよ。眠い。よし、じゃあ今敷くからね。
As soon as the futon was on the ground, as flat as it goes, Sachiko sprawled out on it. It wasn't long before her eyes started drooping. Just like seeing this innocent little girl joy, so stretching out to take a nap was enough to lift my spirits and renew my hope. You won't soon.
ありがとうお姉ちゃん。こちらこそだよ、幸子ちゃん。だって今ここにあなたがいてくれなかったら。
She really must have been tired. She was out like a light the second her head touched the bedding.
かわいいな、もう。床も寝よう。ずっと歩いてたし、目覚めたらお家だといいな。
Off to bed. I woke to find myself being shaken. Sachiko was trying to get me up, and her expression had gone white as a sheet.
お姉ちゃん、お姉ちゃん。何?
She was on the verge of tears. Something seemed to have rudely spooked her. Did that huge man find us? Was she
どうし
attacked?
たの? 落ち着いて話して。髪留めなくしちゃったの。髪留め? 起きたらなかったの。なんだ、そんなことか。
Oh god. Okay.
あ、ごめんね。もっと怖いことかと。どこに落としたの？すぐ探せばあるよ、きっと。
The two of us searched every last inch of the room, me with a wounded foot, but we came up
幸子
empty-handed.
ちゃん、お姉ちゃんはどうすればいいかな。
The entire time we searched, Sachiko hadn't said a word. I was hoping invoking our sisterly bond might help cheer her up.
髪が目に入って痛い。その髪飾り、ちょうだい。
She raised her right hand slowly and pointed to my headband.
これは、ごめんね。これはあげられないの。
As soon as I refused, Sachiko let out a faint, otherworldly groan. Ugh. Okay. Hello. Okay. In the next moment, her face disordered and changed. She no longer looked like an innocent little girl. She looked well and truly like a demon now.
幸子ちゃん? よこせ。
Ugh.
よこせ。
The look in her eyes alone sent chills in my spine. Those were the eyes of someone who meant me harm and is perfectly capable of inflicting it. Give her the headband. Stand firm. I said this gives me a CG for... Sachiko was continuing to groan under her breath, fearing which she might be capable. I desperately tried to console her.
幸子ちゃん、聞いて、幸子ちゃん。これはお母さんに買ってもらったばかりの大事なものなの。だから。お母さん?
Somehow or another, that seemed to quell her anger. Her facial expression snapped back into that of a gentle, kind girl I've been talking to all this time.
そうなの。だからあげられなくて。ごめんね。お母さんからの?
She was oddly receptive to this explanation and even seemed fascinated by it. Maybe I caused her to remember something about her own mother. She was a little girl after all, so her mom was probably really dear to her in life.
お母さん。お母さん。
She looked like she was on the verge of tears again. I was beginning to feel bad that I'd even broached the subject.
ごめんね。いいの。
She still seemed a bit sad, but she nodded. Maybe she understood that I wouldn't give her my headband. Maybe she was okay with it. Where do we go? Alright. Okay. She wasn't even looking at me anymore. I must have really upset her.
幸子ちゃん、カチューシャはあげられないけど、他のものならいいよ。
Oh no.
他のもの？うん、私にできることなんて少ないけど。他のもの。じゃあ、ここ。でも、ここは、もう、入りたくない。あ、幸子ちゃん！
Without a moment of hesitation, Sachiko just opened the door and walked right in. I didn't even have an opportunity to stop her.
どうしよう。
The first thing I noticed when I entered the room was Sachiko's form sprawled out on the ground at the foot of the body pool. She was twitching a bit and moaning again, but this time it sounded more like a moan of pain than out of anger. 幸子ちゃん、幸子ちゃん、大丈夫？幸子ちゃん。I stepped over her and turned around so as to put the decaying body behind my back, out of my sight, and then started shaking her. I felt like I absolutely needed to snap her out of whatever this was before something terrible happened. I could feel her tiny cold hand on my abdomen through the thin cloth of my skirt. She was pushing me backwards with tremendous force. Oh, I lost my balance almost instantly and toppled over. It somehow felt like my fall occurred in slow motion, yet the walls and ceilings of the room grew more and more distant, but it happened gradually. Then I felt the murky liquid on my back and heard the splash. I was in the pool of bodies. Oh my god. Because I'd fallen backwards, it took me far too long to regain my bearings. I was submerged in that horrible tinted water close to drowning. I finally broke through the surface, dodging the many dislodged eyeballs that were floating on it like peas in chicken soup, each one wrapped in dull red, bulging veins. I didn't even want to think about what was in all the water I swallowed. Unfortunately, much of it was still in my tongue. My mouth was filled with tiny bits and pieces of other human beings. The taste was overpowering. I was gagging and belching so hard it felt like I was going to regurgitate all my internal organs. I tried to scream but could barely get any sound past the foul lumpy stew in my mouth. I was losing consciousness fast, and I remembered silently praying, silently hoping that this was all just a dream. As the world faded around me, I just kept focusing on that one last wish. Please let me wake up in my bed. I had no other choice. I grabbed Sachiko's outstretched arm and marveled again at her strength. She effortlessly pulled me out of the water. My entire body from head to toe was covered in sticky, goopy chunks of unidentified human flesh from countless different people. Slowly, hesitantly, I raised my head to feel around and determined what this something might be. I was not looking forward to the answer. All I felt was a huge clump of matter stuck to my hair, and just touching it lightly caused some of it to stick to my hand as well. It was a massive ball of fingers and toes. The severed digits were also sticky and slimy that they'd gotten completely wrapped up in my hair like rollers. They weren't coming out easily. must have passed out. When I came to, I was laying on the ground with Sachiko looking over me.
お姉ちゃん、ごめんなさい。
She was on the verge of tears again. Wasn't that her voice started giggling at me? If not, then whose was it?
気のせいだったのかな。
You were not. That had to be it. The sweet little girl couldn't possibly have been that twisted. She is.
大丈夫だよ。
I didn't care how filthy I was as long as Sachiko was alright. That was all that mattered. Yeah, she was my little sister now. After all, I had to take care of her. I had to look after her.
お姉ちゃん遅いよ。待って、幸子ちゃん。
Oh, why is that at 100?
どうしちゃったんだろう。足が重い。
So Sachiko had wound up in the lead, and I was following her blindly, struggling to keep up with her blistering pace.
お姉ちゃん汚い。もっと離れてよ。
I looked down at my uniform. Sure enough, it was soaked through with the blood of the poor victims in the bloody pole. It smelled really awful.
そうだよね。ごめんね。
I didn't recall saying that or even trying to say that. It's like my mouth was moving on its own, speaking someone else's
お姉
thoughts.
ちゃんってほんとのろまだよね。ほんとだね。
If this was how she was going to treat me, then why was I being so nice to her? Why was I doing whatever she asked of me? It was bothering me, and yet it wasn't. I honestly didn't care anymore. I was content to just follow this beautiful little girl to the ends of the earth. How long have I been walking, I wondered?
幸子ちゃん、まだ歩くの？
I was following Sachiko despite myself. I had no idea how much time had passed, but it felt like an eternity. And she'd completely stopped answering any of my questions.
もういいや。
She came to a halt.
どうしたの、幸子ちゃん。
She turned and looked up at me with wide, innocent eyes.
幸子ね、欲しいものがあるの。何？
What was it going to be this time? I honestly didn't want to know, but the question came out of my mouth anyway, and so did this.
幸子ちゃんになら何でもあげるよ。じゃあ次はね。命をちょうだい。
I knew it.
命？
Somehow, part of me knew this was coming. It was only a matter of time.
それはダメし。
Once again, I couldn't seem to control the words coming out of my mouth. It just said whatever it wanted to say, regardless of how I felt.
私の命
Oh God.
あげるの？
She was laughing again. It was wild, crazy laughter. She was ecstatic.
どうして？何でもくれるんだよね。お姉ちゃんだもん。ね。
Sachiko's smile almost seemed to twinkle in the dull light of the corridor. She had the face of an angel, but it was all just a mask.
怖い怖い怖い。やだよ。
I mustered all the strength I had, trying with whatever life was left of me to denounce her words and resist her pull. There was no hope for me anymore, but I still clung to what I could. If I could just reject her statement and tell her she was wrong.
いや、ダメ。は？冗談はやめて。ね。早くお兄ちゃんを探そう。お兄ちゃんならきっと何とかしてくれるからね。だからお兄ちゃんを。お兄ちゃん？そうだよ。私はお兄ちゃんみたいになれないけど頑張るから。お兄ちゃんお兄ちゃんってうるさいんだよ。早くよこせ。殺
してやる。殺して殺して殺して殺して首に殺してやる。早く死ね
幸子ちゃん。
My body shook and spasmed uncontrollably. I was being overtaken by an invisible force, compelling me to speak, to say what would be my very last words on this earth. A suicide note when you get right down to it.
しょうがないな。いいよ。あげる。私の命。幸子ちゃんにあげる。
Ooh. There he is. It was instantaneous. With one single blow, my skull was cracked wide open, blood sputtered far and wide. I could feel blood trickling out from my nostrils and my right ear. My brain was jutting out from inside my head, fully exposed to the air, but I was so conscious. I could still feel everything. Of course, she took a picture. Saw a bright flash of light and realized she'd just taken my picture of the instant camera she'd been holding onto. Holy shit.
綺麗な写真が撮れた。いやしい女。
Sachiko was such a cute little girl before, but now her face was twisted into a hateful, spiteful grimace as she looked down on me in contempt.
そうだ。これお兄ちゃんに見せてあげよう。何でもくれるって言ったでしょ。もう私のお兄ちゃん。
Oh god. Sachiko began petting my sticky matted head with her coarse, sticky hands in mockery of my previous gentleness with her.
汚い顔。本当はこれを取り上げるのが目的だったんだよね。
I scrap of paper from the
お
charm.
姉ちゃんとはまた遊びたいから、ファクトにはしないであげる。また遊ぼうね、ゆかお姉ちゃん。
Oh god. Yep, of course that's how that ended. An alternate universe tale. I hate this alternate universe. I really hate this alternate universe. Tooth. See. Should just be. I probably missed some in the body pool. I think some bodies in the body pool. I think I was supposed to go back with Sachiko to the body pool and look at. I think there were some tags that I probably missed. Anyway, that was the end of chapter. What was it? Chapter 6? Yes, chapter 6. Of Corpse Party Book of Shadows. Of course, that was how that was going to end. How else would this freaking chapter end? Oh. I have no words. Anyway, we'll be going on to the sort of last chapter, but then there's like a prologue, 8th chapter that's also a prologue to the next game. Blood Drive, which I do not have. I may get it at some point and play it. Whether it's on here or just on my own, I don't know. Let me know if you want to see me play Blood Drive. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video for Corpse Party Book of Shadows. If you did, subscribe, check out the stuff I do. See you next time. Bye-bye.